Let's start off with the first front page for this morning, and we are going to it's West Africa, and we're looking at Nigeria.
Yeah, we're looking at Nigeria this morning. We're starting with the Daily Trust. Now, this big story here, Osinbajo notifies Buhari of presidential ambition. That's what it's saying. That's one of the major story. You can get that from page 5 of the Daily Trust this morning. Now, on the upper left, Boni to preside over APC convention as big wigs move to vacate court order. That's on page 11. And on page 22, imports. Mixed reactions as CBN banks ready for price verification system. So in other words, they're telling us there's going to be a middle person, the middleman in between all of this. Well, for more information, go to page 22 of the Daily Trust this morning. You can see this picture here of a man. Well, let's say he is a popular pastor arrested concealing illicit drug at Lagos airport. That's another major story this morning from the Daily Trust. Manufacturers lament as diesel hits 720 naira, I beg your pardon, per liter. Well, Joe, last Friday I bought diesel at 750 naira per liter, not even 720. 750.
I thought it was 6 something.
No, Joe, in less than 2 weeks, I mean, in the space of 2 weeks, I bought fuel diesel from 440 naira to 750 naira in the space of 2 weeks. Now, this is causing a lot of stir, but you can get that from the Daily Trust this morning. ASU may declare indefinite strike today. Our educational sector has a lot to grapple. Well, that's on page 4 from the Daily Trust.
All right, away from the Daily Trust now. You are still following, and definitely take a note, because you need to take note of this one. It is definitely hotting up in Kenya. Daily Nation is what we're looking at. It's Uhuru versus Ruto, decision 2022. And we'll be talking about this incisively as we proceed. It's got to do with our top story. But first of all, Battle Royale is what it's called. I like the name, Le Battle Le Royale. Battle Royale, by the way. In the fight for his own succession, President Kenyatta is in the crosshairs of his deputy, who less than 24 hours after the launch of a Grand Azimio coalition fired a tirade against his boss yesterday, accusing him of calling him a thief and betraying him at the greatest hour of need. Ruto is angry, and so is the president. Page 4 will tell you every single bit of how annoying things are starting to look for both of them, even though one of them says, you know what, I support you to be the next president. But, is it really true as a political statement? Well, Kalonzo Ngilu tried to derail my coalition talks with Raila Kenyatta. Well, Kalonzo is also talking tough concerning the elections. I'm going to go up there at the top. You can see Malala, why Mudavadi must be Ruto's deputy. Why is that? Page 6 has all the information. But that's not all. Let's also look at the right. You can see something concerning health. Kenyans who just won't ditch mask. So they're saying that there's some Kenyans, even though they've taken the vaccine, they will not ditch the mask. Well, why is that? You can read up every single thing you need to know on the Daily Nation.
All right, from the Daily Nation, let's move on to the Namibian paper this morning. Looking at the Namibian, but let's also head on to the Daily Monitor from Uganda this morning. Now, the Daily Monitor has quite a lot. They're still talking about the NSSF money. And it says here how women will share NSSF money. That's what you can see here. You can see the data analysis. You can see the infographic here. Distribution of midterm assets. That's what it's saying here. You can see the percentage for the women. It says about 35% of the money will be shared to the women. It's also coming to talk about the average payout, and that of the men. Also, the men are not left out in all of this as well. Talking about the value, the share, percentage share, and the number of members. You can also go to page 5 and 4 for more details from the Daily Monitor. Also on page 3, woman held for whipping priest during husband's burial. Oh, okay. Why would she do that? That's on page 3 from the Daily Monitor this morning. And on page 3 and 10, Bahati launches seed schools in Kikezi as government rolls out drive. That's also page 3 and 10. And on page 5, the last one here, profiles of the 2 men appointed deputy directors of public prosecutions. That's on page 5 from the Daily Monitor.
All right, away from the Daily Monitor now, let's take the last salvo this morning, and we'll be taking one last paper right there. We take you straight to Namibia. It is the Namibian. Ministers are sitting on opportunities. Gengob says president also trashes those saying apartheid era was better. How Would you? Top 2, President Gegno and Vice President Nangolo Mbumba at the latest cabinet retreat. So they are actually speaking, and the president says, listen very carefully. Ministers are sitting on opportunities. That means the ministers need to do better. We also have another picture at the left there. Healing Indelini is still recovering from a kidnapping ordeal. There's a story of a kidnap, and it's quite sad. I'm taking you where the police can't find you. Woman relieves kidnapping horror. You might want to read about that so you could get informed and find out what tactic was being used. And you might want to be careful in case you are faced with anything similar. Heartbreakers fire claims toddler's life. You can see the picture there. There was a fire outbreak, and it's got to do with the morning that also took place. Everyone was crying after a toddler was burned to death in the latest fire to cause devastation in the community. And we're talking about Kasim Bond community right there. Quite a sad situation. But you can pick up the Namibian, read through, and get to know what the latest stories are.